What's going on? What's going on, Patriots? This your boy Jay from Hood Politics. I was about to get up out of here, go back in there and enjoy the rest of my night. But this popped up on my feed, so I wanted to check this out with y'all together. One last video for the night. Let's see what's going on.
A Supreme Court justice was to retire and announce it on his or her own terms. Does President Biden plan to honor his pledge to nominate a black woman to the court?
Well, I've commented on this previously. The president has stated and reiterated his commitment to nominating a black woman to the Supreme Court and certainly stands by that. For today, again, I'm just not going to be able to say anything about any specifics until, of course, Justice Breyer makes any announcement, should he decide to make an announcement.
A few years later,
it has caused some people, like Charlie Kirk, to say Ketanji Brown Jackson is a diversity hire. She's only there because she's a black woman.
Of course he said that. Like, it's Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Like, big, that's not breaking news. Ketanji Brown Jackson is more than qualified to be on the bench. And I would argue
She is not more than qualified to be on the bench. I remember specifically these people asking that lady, what's the definition of a woman? And she couldn't tell them. You are a female and going up to be the Supreme Court justice and you don't know the definition of a woman? So no, she's not qualified. She's definitely a diversity hire.
I don't like all the justices and their judicial rulings, and they all have very qualified judicial records. So the fact that she is a black woman, the first black woman, there have been many, many before her, and there will be many, many after. Will they all get the chance to be on the bench? No. But this is what they do. Like, they should have just taken the win, but they cannot get out of using race and gender to try and bait people against each other. I'll just also say the birthright citizenship question is still one that is very much on the table. A lot of people after this court ruling came down are scared, but that wasn't actually.
And that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Right now, President Trump got what they call it carte blanche to do what he wants with his birthright citizenship, because the Supreme Court just basically kicked it down the line and said what it is. You know what I'm saying? Birthright citizenship was meant and only meant for the children of slaves. It was not meant for illegal immigrants to come over here 9 months pregnant, ready to pop, come over here on vacation, pop out a shorty, and now that's an American citizen. I've always despised that. Always. I thought that was the most ignorant law on the books.
Decided today, and that will come in the fall, and I still think that the Supreme Court will not rule that birthright citizenship should be overturned.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah. I think that's important to mention to people, because I think people are trying to figure this out. We're not all legal beagles like you, unfortunately. So they're trying.
Boy. So we got to follow up on the fallout as a result of probably the best week that President Trump has ever had during his career as president. Whether you're talking about his first term or his second term, I cannot think of a week in which President Trump has had more wins than this week. Okay, I mean, you're talking about avoiding World War III, getting rid of Iran's nuclear capabilities. We're talking.
Just in case everybody wondering, no, I do not live in my garage, man. I know y'all see the refrigerator, microwave. I got two of everything. I got a whole nother stove over there, whole nother piece of. I got two of everything. We already had stuff when we purchased this house, but it came with brand new appliances. So I don't want everybody to think like, oh, do this, do Jake live in his garage? No, I ain't that much of a pookie, man.
About ending wars in Africa, getting our NATO allies to actually pay their fair share to defend themselves, getting a historic new trade framework with China, stock market at an all-time high, inflation at a 4-year low, summer gas prices basically at a 4-year low as well too. And then basically to top it all off, he had a massive victory in the Supreme Court, right? Multiple Supreme Court wins, and this is what we have to talk about here today in this video, because liberals are still boo-hoo-whining and crying about the fact that these woke activist judges are no longer allowed to issue national injunctions in order to stop President Trump's agenda, okay? Because these woke.
And I'm gonna do a video on that because we got to celebrate that, Patriots. We got to celebrate that. These liberal judges was way overstepping their boundaries, and that was so aggravating to me. I love President Trump, and I love the Republicans, but this fucking moral stance that they have, that they just got to follow all the rules all the time, that ain't gonna work all the time, man. It worked this time. Kudos. It worked this time. But that's not gonna work all the time, man. You can't win a game and you know the other opponent is cheating and you're not even willing to stoop to that level. You can't win like that. That's why I can't fully get behind them.
Judges have essentially created a constitutional crisis in which they believe that they're actually the executive and that President Trump should bow to their authority, right? That they have more power than the executive branch. Again, we're talking about district court judges. And this has been the Democrats' number one weapon in regards to fighting back against Trump. And the Supreme Court basically castrated them, which, I mean, technically, you got to be a male to be castrated. The Democrat Party is not a party of males. So, I mean, you know, hey, regardless, they have significantly destroyed the Democrats and their ability to fight back against the Trump administration by weaponizing the courts. And you know that this is really bad because you have the lunatics on MSNBC completely losing their minds, coming up with these radical, over-the-top hypotheticals to try to point out how bad this Supreme Court decision.
Michael, I'm sorry. I can't believe that we are asking the question, is the 14th Amendment to the Constitution?
How they gonna get rid of one race baiting chick and replace them with two more? Cause dude got low testosterone, so it is what it is. You know, if it quacks, it's a duck.
Constitutional. That is what it is, crazy. And I am sorry, but people need to call. This is crazy. They're asking us not to believe our own eyes and our own ears. They're asking us to go against everything that we know to be true. This is insane.
Walk me through why you see this ruling as deeply dangerous.
This dude on the right with his hair, this is the most racist black person I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of racist black people since all of this George Floyd bullshit and this BLM. You know, they seem to somehow turn my group of people racist, and I'm sorry, I want to apologize for that. But this dude here, he's a true clown.
Not for people who are birthright citizens, but much more broadly for every American.
Imagine Donald Trump wants to do something illegal to you, Ali Velshi. Imagine that he wants to murder you.
I shouldn't even stop it right there. But I just wanted to say, listen to the low testosterone. Look how he dressed. He dressed like a low testosterone male.
Imagine that he and Stephen Miller release an entire policy explaining about how they can murder Canadian journalists who are working in America because they're taking the jobs from real American journalists, right? So he's going to murder you.
What the freak do that has to do with illegal immigrants?
You, Ali Velshi, you go to court. You go to court in the Southern District of New York and you say, like, I don't think this murder thing is constitutional. It's clearly illegal. It's clearly constitutional. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and Stephen Miller shouldn't be able to have a plan to murder me. And the court says.
And see, this the gaslighting that they doing to their people. You understand me? This is the gaslighting that they doing to their people. They not telling them that the ruling is that you can't go to court on behalf of somebody else. You can't sue somebody on behalf of somebody else. You know what I'm saying? They have to bring that lawsuit against the Trump administration. And guess what? They can't. Because why? They're fucking illegal.
You're right, Ali Velshi. There's no way Donald Trump is allowed to murder you. We're going to have an injunction. We're going to stay the executive order saying that he's going to murder Canadian journalists. And so you're like, great, awesome. And you go home.
And what freaking type of analogy is that? Murder? You see how they try to oh my goodness, these people are so evil. This is the banality of evil. This is insane. I might be saying some words wrong because I'm tipsy, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And y'all know the meaning. Excuse me.
And then Pat Kiernan shows up and he's like, what about me? I'm also a Canadian. Ashley Banfield shows up. She says, I'm also a Canadian. What about me? And the court's, well, I can't help you because Ali Velshi is the one who sued. So Pat Kiernan, if you don't want to be murdered, you have to launch your entire own lawsuit in the Southern District of New York again to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't murder you. And while
and they can't do that. Why? Because they're illegal immigrants. They don't belong here. They do not. People, let me explain something to you. For all those who don't understand plain English, if you are not an American citizen, you are not subject to American fucking laws.
Supreme Court is deciding who the Ali Velshi can't be murdered injunction applies to, guess what? Donald Trump starts murdering people. That is the upshot of yesterday's decision. Donald Trump has declared that he is going to do an unconstitutional thing. And various people have been able to secure the court's order that he cannot do the unconstitutional thing to them. And basically what the Supreme Court...
What is he talking about? What's unconstitutional about deporting illegal immigrants? Can somebody in the comments please explain to me what is unconstitutional about deporting illegal immigrants? Obama was the deporter in chief. Obama deported millions. We haven't even touched 1 million yet. And they crying foul. Stop playing. Let's
What just said is that, well, you said something about Jimmy, but you didn't say anything about Consuela, so we're going to deport Consuela while the Supreme Court figures it out. That is what the court said. And
I appreciate it. And Pat and Ashley are going to appreciate the shout-outs on the show as well, but that makes it very clear that this is...
Yes, except there's one problem with this, right? Besides the fact that clearly he's using a ridiculous hypothetical in order to demonstrate his point. The problem is that you had a liberal justice, Elena Kagan, who said just a few years ago that the district courts should not be able to issue nationwide injunctions, right? She actually agreed with this until it came time for her to actually rule on it, in which all of a sudden she is disagreeing with something that she said just a couple years ago. Take a look.
That can be right, that one district court, whether it's in the Trump years, people used to go to the Northern District of California. And in the Biden years, they go to Texas. And it just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through a normal process.
The nationwide injunction is officially dead, and the court taking an opportunity here to do something that a lot of conservatives perhaps have wanted for a while, but...
Did y'all see her face? I'm going to take that one back, bro. Look at her face. That is the face of a very, very salty person. Look at her face, bro. She's salty. And I wish that they would be this passionate and this fired up over their constituents, bro.
The nationwide injunction is officially dead, and the court taking an opportunity here to do something that a lot of conservatives perhaps have wanted for a while, but As we've discussed plenty of times, the nationwide injunction has been sort of the bane of the existence of Democrat and Republican presidents. It's just that now this court has actually done it.
Yeah, they finally done something about it. Friday was a great day for Donald Trump. The market ended it all.
And Scott Jennings is going to take your job. Now, and I can't wait for it to happen. I'm going to do a live stream when Scott Jennings take her job.
Time highs. He's breaking peace agreements in the Oval Office on Friday afternoon, and then the court really clears the way for him to enact the agenda on which he ran. I was trying to sort out my feelings on this matter, and I came up with a quote from a very smart lawyer, and I just want to quote it because I think she was right when she said it. It just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks. Justice Elena Kagan in 2022 said that, of course, when we had a Democratic president. Now, she voted against the decision on Friday. Just goes to show you that some of these folks really are hacks. But as you correctly said, this has been the bane of existence of presidents, and I'm glad they went ahead and fixed it, because it's not right that one of these individual district court judges can act like a king or a monarch and stop the elected president from acting.
The hackery is definitely bipartisan because...
Yeah, so we're just going to ignore Abby Phillip once again, being a Democrat Party activist, right, while claiming to be a moderator, because Scott Jennings rightfully pointed out that Justice Elena Kagan is a huge hypocrite, and she's exposed herself as an activist, right? That's what she's doing. Like, she just said a few years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, when Biden was in office, that, yeah, these district judges should not be able to enact nationwide injunctions. Now, all of a sudden, when Trump is in office, she believes that they should be able to enact nationwide injunctions. What changed, right? What changed besides the president in office, right? What changed? Okay, nothing changed except that. And now all of a sudden she's changed her opinion, which again shows you who these people are, right? That they're not nonpartisan judges. No, they are partisan, and they're acting on behalf.
And we already know that because Chuck Schumer went on TV and said the quiet part out loud, talking about we put in 200 and something activist judges. Yeah, we already know. We already know. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stop that right here. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I love y'all. This is your boy Jay from Hood Politics checking out. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to bring y'all one more. This popped up, so I said we're going to do this together. Sign off. Stay safe. I love all y'all patriots. This your boy Jay, Hood Politics signing out.